This episode is sponsored by Wacom, Wacom.com. As I've been told, Wa is the Japanese word for harmony, and Com is short for the computer, harmony between humans and technology, and I couldn't agree more. I've been using Wacom products for my digital illustrations for 15 years. I don't know how I would have managed without their products, so it's an honor to have them sponsor Face the Truth podcast. I prefer to work on a Cintiq, which is an LCD pressure-sensitive screen, which allows the user to draw directly on the display surface. The Cintiq allows me to be able to draw and paint digitally in a way that feels natural and very close to how I work when I paint traditionally. I personally work on a Mobile Studio Pro, which is a travel-size Cintiq so that I can work on the go. And for the studio, I work on the 27-inch Cintiq, which offers true-to-life color on a high-resolution display, giving you clarity and color sensitivity in creative areas like drawing and painting, image editing, 2D, 3D animation, game development, and so much more. I'm happy to announce that Wacom and I will be giving one lucky artist who participated in this episode drawing challenge a Wacom Cintiq Pro 13-inch. Congratulations in advance, and thank you, Wacom. So, what's been going on in my life lately? The podcast is a new adventure that's been taking up a lot of my time. I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait to share many more conversations with amazing artists from all over the world with all of you. I've got a lot of cool people lined up, and I'm super stoked. I've been doing a lot of cover illustrations lately, and just picked up a huge cover for one of my favorite clients, which I can't really talk about just yet. I'm also working on a large oil painting, a private commission for a university. Other than that, I've been enjoying spending my time with my family. I've got 3 daughters now. The youngest one is 1 year old, so life's been a bit busy, which is exactly how I like it. I'm super honored to introduce to you all my first guest, the talented and amazing Daniel Arriaga. Daniel is a character designer and character art director for Pixar. He's worked on films such as Oscar award-winning Coco, which he won an Annie Award for Best Character Design. He's also worked on Ratatouille, WALL-E, Up, Toy Story 3, and Wreck-It Ralph. I've known Daniel for a few years now, as we are both online instructors for the best damn online art school in the land, schoolism.com. Daniel teaches a character design class, and I teach a caricature illustration class, as well as a class on drawing and painting realistic portraits. So check that out if you're interested in online classes. There are many outstanding instructors at schoolism.com. I really enjoyed talking with Daniel. He's a hard worker and an honest and very humble dude. Super talented and says it like it is, straight from the heart. I hope you enjoy a chat as much as I did. Let's do this! How's it been going? What you been up
to? Jason,
besides the fire, besides the fire.
I know we got a lot of fires going on here in California right now. It's going good. I've actually, it's funny you catch me in a funny moment because I've actually been on a leave of absence from Pixar for about 2 months now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
wow.
with another month to go.
Oh, wow.
It's a time to refresh and recharge.
Oh, interesting. So what have you been doing in the meantime with that? Like, what you?
And I've been having a good time.
Just like relaxing.
Yeah, I don't know. You might have seen if you follow me on Instagram, you would see a giant rock that I'm building.
A giant rock.
I know that sounds weird, right? So I like to sculpt a lot, and
awesome.
One of the things that I can sculpt are rock fixtures, just for the yard, just for.
Oh, interesting. Just
for the way.
Like, yeah, just decoration in the yard. So you make it look like a real rock?
Because, as an artist, you don't stop with paper, you don't stop with pencils. As an artist, you keep going. Your mind doesn't stop. But it also comes with a curse. Yeah. And you know what that curse is?
What's that?
That curse comes with anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
And tons of panic attacks and tons of like, am I going to be able to make this happen? Or am I going to be able to pay the bills this month? And all that.
Yeah. No, trust me, man. I completely relate. It like for me, because I'm a freelance illustrator, I don't have like a steady job. Sometimes I get really good gigs where I'm busy for weeks. And right now I've been working on these giant oil paintings that are. They take me quite a while, but they've been paying really well, and it's all for a university. So I'm painting past presidents for a university, and that's a really cool gig. But that's going to be up soon, and hopefully, hopefully something else comes in that's awesome. But I definitely can relate. I have a lot of sleepless nights
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you have a you don't have to answer this if you don't want to. Not in this forum. If you don't want to, I don't know either because this is all new to me.
Yeah.
Do you have an agent that finds your work?
Do I have what? Sorry. An agent?
An agent. Yeah.
I do have an agent, Richard Solomon in New York, and it's and I get a good amount of work from him. Excuse me. I do get a lot of work from him, but it's a lot of. I've been with him for quite a while, and it's a lot of work through me. I've people like word of mouth, and for me, I've gotten enough of a reputation that I get calls from random people, and then I get stuff through him. Mostly my private commissions. That's all on my own,
Yeah.
But yeah, most of the magazine stuff is through him.
Gotcha.
But it can be, like we were talking before about the whole Trump thing. I thought for sure when Trump became president that I was going to be drawing him constantly. But it turns out that I think people are afraid. They're afraid whether they're for Trump or against Trump. I've only done a handful. My next guest I'm going to be talking to is Steve Brodner, and he's one of the only caricature illustrators out there that I'm seeing him doing this stuff on a regular basis. But most publications have been pulling back from the caricature stuff, which really sucks. It seems like a lot of people are afraid of it. They don't want Trump on their things. When Obama was president, I was drawing him all the time. Like, it was crazy. I've done hundreds and hundreds of Obamas, and that's why I thought when Trump, the good thing when he became president was, yes, I'm gonna be so busy, it's gonna be awesome. And no, that's fucking taken away from me too. That big orange toad just ruins everything.
I'll give my opinion about it, and then people can disagree with it if they want. It's fine. But this man, he is so funny to draw.
Yeah, I agree.
That at some point you got to be like, okay, this is too easy. I can't even draw this guy anymore because once I draw him, people are gonna get mad at me, whether they like him or they don't. Like, it doesn't matter. One way or the other.
Yeah.
One way or the other. They either like him or they don't. And you're not gonna make anybody happy because you're gonna go one way or the other.
Oh man, I know it. Like, it's funny. I try not to look at. Sometimes I do a publication, like an illustration for a certain magazine, and sometimes I'll stumble onto that magazine's Facebook page, and I'll start reading the comments under my cover or something, and I should probably not do that because sometimes it just crushes me. Like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen. This artist is a piece of crap artist, and that's not how Millennial looks, and and I'm like, Millennial, this is exactly how you look, okay? It's just like, it's so frustrating because you never know. Like, don't be offended. Don't be offended. Hey, by the way, thanks so much for being my first guest on my podcast. This is awesome.
Yes, sir.
I'm stoked.
Are we gonna do our shot?
Yeah, let's do a shot. Let's do a toast to the podcast. Shot to Face the Truth podcast.
Here you guys. To all of Jason's future fans and fans now, he's an amazing guy. I love this guy. I will have his back no matter what. So
same here, brother.
Don Julio, no matter what. I'm gonna give one to my wife too.
All right.
Yeah, Esther, here. Can I have your glass? I need your. Oh, you're gonna take it from the bottle, then.
You should open the windows and let some of that smoke come in for some effect. Some of that California smoke.
To Jason.
Cheers to Daniel, to Esther.
Right on, buddy.
All right.
I love you.
Ching.
Ching. All right, now we're off to a good start.
All right.
That was great.
Woo. Really good.
That was good.
So, I put together just a few questions for you, just because, I got to have something to talk about. But
yeah.
Sure. So, basically, wow, I need a drink of water. That was some hot burning. That's good though.
Okay.
It's so funny. I was just at Wacom last weekend, and I was talking to him about. I love, like, I've made like maybe 5 or 6 friends that are Pixar guys, and I always say it's so funny because they make in my opinion, some of the best movies, hands down, like storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're mostly like kid stories, but at the same time, it's like, you know, adults can, anybody can really appreciate them, right? But I always think it's so funny because my Pixar friends, nobody parties harder than the Pixar friends. Like I had I'm blanking on their names right now. Louis and
Louis Gonzalez.
yeah,
Louis Gonzalez.
Louis and I cannot believe I'm blanking right now.
Uh, Let me help you out. Hold on. Louis Gonzalez. If you know Louis, then you know Dean Kelly. Do you know Dean
I
Kelly?
have not met Dean Kelly. No.
Okay, Dean Kelly's awesome. Louis Gonzalez, and then we're gonna go with
Adrian.
Adrian Ochoa.
Oh,
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah. He was. He's not now, but he was. But so him and his brother, they came to our wedding.
Yeah, Edgar, yeah.
And oh my gosh, it was insane how crazy. It was just a big party. And then they found out that I was going to Switzerland to do a workshop with schoolism. And man, they're like, oh man, him and his brother were like, we're going to Switzerland just to hang out with you guys. And it was crazy. I was just like, man, nobody gets down like the Pixar guys. So I wanted to one of my questions for you was just basically like, you know, Coco was one of those movies that the first time I saw just a trailer for it, I was just like, whoa, they did it again. Because, like, I mean, there's been a few Pixar movies, if I'm being honest, that I was kind of like a little bit disappointed about, like Dinosaur. I was like, what the hell is happening in this thing? But for the most part, Pixar movies are just so inspirational and just so well done. And Coco just took it to a completely different level, just in everything from storytelling. The story alone is so moving and touching. But then visually, the character development, which you were the art director for, just unreal. Like, even if you look at the background characters, I mean, there was so much love and passion put into it. And, you know, it besides just being like a kid's movie, I think it's one of the best movies of 2017. And I guess I just wanted to know, like, how does it feel to be part of such an iconic, I think, like modern day masterpiece? I mean, it's just it must have been, I know, a lot of stress going into working on it, a lot of time, but then when it comes down to it, when it's finally released, you're just like, oh, you know, you know what I mean? I can relate to that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But how was that for you personally,
Jason?
The process.
That's a really good question, man. For me, it feels like an honor. It feels like an honor to be a small part of it, just a small part of it, because a lot of people were part of the process, right? There's a lot of people above me and below me and whoever beside who had a part to do with this film. And then as it gets celebrated, because now it's the year anniversary, right? Today we're talking about another day, but it came out over a year ago. And,
excuse me.
And people are still talking about it to this day. They approached me in the family, because the family knows my family, Esther's family, my wife's family. They know that I'm part of this. They know that I was part of it, and they asked me about it. I tell you what, man. There was about, I'd say four new family members who made ofrendas this year, versus last year didn't make any. That to me tells me, holy moly, this is amazing, because people are getting touched by it. Yeah. It's not just making the ofrenda, it's just you're touching their souls, because honestly, when you make the ofrenda, you think, oh, I'm going to do this for myself. This is my personal experience. I made the ofrenda, I'll make this ofrenda, it's going to be great. And then when I went to go make it, I didn't realize I was going to cry. Yeah. I didn't realize my emotions were going to come out. Yeah. But they did. They poured. I cried like crazy, man, because I remembered the people that were here before me and how much I love them, you know, and some of them young, some of them older, to work on a movie that reflects that. Yeah, man. I can't explain, Jason. I really can't. I really can't.
It's such a there's something about it that movie that just I mean, for me personally, like I've watched it several times now, and now I have a 1-year-old baby, and she just started walking, and it's amazing just watching her develop. And she'll sit down. I'll put that movie on just for background for her, and just watching her little face light up, and just points at the screen, and she's ooh, and just like, I know she doesn't quite get obviously the story yet, but there's just it's just amazing that at all levels how a movie like that can just reach like everybody, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm not Hispanic, not Latino, but it doesn't matter. The culture of that movie is so beautiful.
I'm gonna cut you off only because I think that it doesn't matter what you are.
Oh, of course.
It doesn't matter. Like that, the fact that you're American, and
I'm a pink white guy,
and it doesn't matter. Like God has blessed you too, man. Like, and you know what? Like, we are all the same. We're brothers, and we are.
Yeah. No, that's not what I meant. What I'm getting at was, when I went to watch this movie, I had no, I didn't have like a big understanding of that celebration. I didn't really know much about the culture of it, and the movie brought so much of that to me, where I was like, wow, this is so beautiful, man. Like, I just, that's what I'm talking about. Like coming at it from a point of view where I wasn't familiar with that, and that's what I love about the movie is that. It's about time that Pixar did a film like that, and it was just awesome, and
then there's more coming now. There's more. Like I can't give away what they're working on because honestly, I'll get in trouble. So all y'all fans, everybody out there, I'll get in trouble. But
let me just ask you this: is Luke Skywalker coming back in the next Pixar movie?
I don't know. I can't answer that. My answers are done. So
hey, so I heard in an interview that you're doing with Bobby, you were talking about early on in your well, not really your career, but you used to you were working at a grocery store. You hated it, and then your awesome wife. I don't know if you were married at the time, but she ended up signing up for art school, and
she signed me up. She signed me up. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that, like the struggle? Because I mean, I can relate. Like when I first went to art school, I had my 15-year-old was 1 at the time, and I was working as a professional illustrator, but at the same time, I was trying to go to art school while doing illustration work for magazines and having a 1-year-old. It was super super stressful, but at the same time, for me personally, was such a great time because it kind of like. Shaped my attitude, my head, my direction, my focus. I was just curious about how that was for you in that time.
Well, Jason, I really respect you. First of all, you need to know that. I know that how hard you have worked for your family. Okay. And for me, the same thing. I had a little baby, and they were like, who's they? They is the people who didn't believe in me. They thought I was gonna not be an artist, right? Yeah. And I was like, wait, I'm gonna do this because deep down inside, you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Oh yeah. There's not. Right? That was always ever since I was a little kid. That's all I wanted to do.
Right. No matter what. No matter what. Like I love to draw, and I'm gonna do this whether you like it or not. So. Having them at a young age actually pushed me further.
Yeah.
It actually pushed me a lot.
That's exactly what happened to me too. That's awesome. Yeah.
It pushed me so far that like because of them, they made it easier for me to want to go that way.
Yeah, it's a huge a lot of people have asked me like what was your inspiration, and I was like, well, I started painting the day my first daughter was born. Because I had like this, I like had a breakdown where I was like, oh my gosh, I suck. I'm a joke. I can't. I remember having this conversation and thinking with myself, and thinking, I can draw, I can do some pen and ink stuff and some watercolor a little bit, but I don't know how to paint. And I basically was telling myself, you're a loser, man. You can't. There's no way you're ever gonna make it if you don't learn how to paint. And literally. The day my daughter was born, I did my first painting, and I haven't stopped since. I was like, I'm going to be a painter. I'm going to learn how to do this. And I just kept doing it. So it's pretty cool because every year that it's her birthday, it's like, if that's my, I've been painting for 15 years now,
Yeah.
and yeah, so she's an inspiration, and I think that's something that's a lot of people don't understand what it's like to be an artist, and how to deal with the deadlines and the pressure and that sort of a thing. But that's why I want to do this podcast. That's why I want to talk to people about this kind of stuff, because there's a lot of artists out there who look up to you, who look up to me, who want to make it in the art world. And it's not easy. It's stressful, but it's also I find so like inspirational and exciting. Like I still get excited every time one of my pieces of art gets published somewhere. Like I still go to the store and look at it. It still just makes me feel amazing. Like, oh, wow, I'm doing it. And I want to try to bring that to other artists, other people out there as well.
Well, Jason, please know that I respect you like crazy, man, and thank you for everything, man.
Oh man, same here, man. So you were ever since you were little, were you drawing right away, or is it something that you kind of did as a hobby here and there, and then
yeah, it was kind of a thing that I love to do.
Yeah.
But so this is a good story too. As an artist, right? How do you get good at art, right? Honestly, ask yourself that.
Yeah.
You sit in your room or you sit alone somewhere and you draw.
Yeah.
You draw and you draw. But guess what you're not doing? You're not socializing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? You're not socializing. So you eventually become a really good artist, but you don't know how to deal with people because you never dealt with people.
Yeah.
So it's funny because when you want to get into the animation side of it, not even illustration, not even freelance, just the animation side of it. When you want to get on that part of it, what do? You end up leading a team. But if I never socialized, I never learned how to work with people.
Oh no, that's a really good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, that was I can definitely relate to that because I was the kind of kid that didn't have very many friends. High school was pretty hard on me. I spent most of my time alone drawing. And what ended up happening is when I started getting into the professional world, I was terrified to talk on the phone to art directors. I remember one of the first times I got a call from the Wall Street Journal, I couldn't talk. I just like, and I ended up like writing these little notes for myself. Next time someone calls, don't sound like an idiot, and I had to like really work on it. And now I can't stop talking. So now it's like, it's gone the other way, but it was the social aspect of it was super important. That was definitely a huge important thing in because, a lot of being an artist has to do with being confident.
Yeah.
Not, I believe that you should be humble. But I also believe that there should be a confidence, that, I know what I can do. And you have to also have that confidence when you talk to like an art director or something, because you don't want them worried that this project they're handing over to you is in the wrong hands. You want them to feel relaxed, and that's the kind of thing that, it takes time to figure that out. Like some artists are really, really amazing at art, but terrible at marketing and all the business side of things. That's why I always try to, like, people, should I go to art school? I always think, you can do some like life drawing classes on the side for pretty fair price, and then just go to business school. Because art school is kind of crazy sometimes. Like, for me it was anyways, even though I had fun. But I think that the marketing, the business thing should be a huge part of art school education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because it's still something that, I've been doing it for like 20 years now, and I still feel like sometimes like I don't know what I'm doing. Like it's a challenge, to try to figure out, and things keep changing, how things are done,
Yeah.
And so like I learned really quickly that postcards don't work. I used to send out postcards like when I first was getting into the business, and I spent so much money on them, sent them out, never got one job. Actually, no, I did get one. I did Arnold Schwarzenegger for Muscle Magazine. And
What?
Yeah, Muscle Magazine, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's the only response I ever got from a postcard. And then years later, when I went to New York, I went to Time Magazine, Rolling Stone, Mad Magazine, all these different offices. And when I think it was in Rolling Stone, and they got a stack of postcards from artists, and they took them and they just threw them in the trash. And I was like,
Really?
oh shit, that's what they're doing. They don't look at those things, you know. And it made sense to me. It's like, man, they're so busy, and so there's a lot to learn when it comes to that stuff,
Yeah.
But it's it is what it is. I mean, you don't do too much like promotional type stuff anymore, do you? I mean, like, do you like advertise in certain books or anything for your work, or do you just use your website, that kind of thing?
Not right now, but I probably will in the future.
Yeah.
Just because it's good. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, you
Yeah.
always got to promote yourself, right? You always got to, as an artist, for all the artists out there who are aspiring, you always got to promote yourself. That's just it. If you don't do it, who else is going to do it, right? And so, and you got to do it for yourself. And sometimes it takes a little bit extra. Yeah.
What kind of, because people probably wonder, like, well, I mean, for me, what I do for promotion stuff is I enter shows like Society of Illustrators, which I actually didn't enter this year because I did a lot of portraits this year for magazines, which there's nothing wrong with that. But even though I'm really happy with how they turned out, and I think they're really good portraits, it wasn't like I didn't have any like awesome illustration image that I was really super stoked about. I did some paintings for the TV show Schitt's Creek, and I was tempted to submit those, but then I was just like, I don't know, like it was like one of those things where I just didn't feel it, so I didn't do it this year. But normally I enter shows like that, or American Illustration. There's different shows, communication arts and things like that. That's the kind of stuff that I recommend, because you're kind of competing, and once you get in there, a lot of art directors pick up those books and look through them, and but yeah, I don't know. I mean, other than that, besides, I think an important thing is keeping a presence online, is really important, that you're consistent, that you're always sharing work and, pushing yourself and that kind of a thing. Because I get so much feedback and stuff just through Instagram. It's kind of interesting. It's a different day and age.
Yeah.
So, what, I was going to ask you something about your, because I recently just got this. I saw pictures the other day. The art book, the Coco book.
Yeah.
It's an awesome book, man. So many awesome drawings in it, paintings, sculptures. I know you sculpt as well, which is amazing.
I love to sculpt. Yeah, sculpting is one of my favorite things to do. But yeah,
that's amazing. I saw some of the stuff in the Coco book, but I was curious. I was looking at your style online, looking at the books. I've got like a ton of, like, I got Art of Ratatouille, and man, you worked on so many movies that are just like my favorites. It's just so cool. But what I was curious about your style is you've got like this very whimsical. It almost seems vintage. Like there's almost like a classic type vintage feel. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense, Deal? Like this?
I'm listening. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it something like? I guess I'm just curious about your take on like what your influence is, or is it just natural coming up?
You know what it is? It's like, yeah, you're right. I love that era. I do, and
it's almost 50s looking or something.
I have a respect for that era.
Yeah,
I really do. There's no way to really like to say it other than I love it. I just love it. The reason I love it is because there was a lot of special extra put into it.
Yeah.
It was always oh God, it's hard to explain. I don't even know what I'm saying right now myself.
Well, like, what I love about your style, but just not even just your style, but like, so you've got your sketches, which are they're simplistic as far as like you don't overcomplicate the shapes.
Right.
And there's like this movement, and there's there's like a lot of heart and feeling, and I really love that. And then you've got like these, kind of like digital set designs that you've done, like in Up, that are just gorgeous, like the lighting and even the kind of brushwork that you're doing and stuff. And it's just interesting to see you go from, I guess you've got like a huge toolbox that I can see you pulling from.
You know what they told me is what did they call it? The master of many is the master of none, or something. What do they call it?
Yeah, no, I've heard that before.
That's kind of my problem. That's kind of my problem.
Yeah.
I like a lot of things, because
Yeah.
you mentioned it earlier. I like to sculpt. I like to paint. I like to draw.
Yeah.
I like to animate. I wanna do all this stuff, but then like I never really focus on just one thing,
Yeah.
So that's kind of I would say if I have a downfall, that's kind of been my downfall, is I don't focus on just one thing.
Yeah.
Like I like too many things.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. I've heard that same exact thing before, and the only thing, in the illustration world, that can be a problem. Like for example, if you have a portfolio and your portfolio is basically like every single piece looks completely different, that's going to scare art directors away, because they're going to be like, I don't know what I'm going to get with this guy, So I've been, I fool around with like every medium, but as far as my portfolio goes, I try to keep my caricatures kind of consistent, certain style. I'll branch off a little bit here and there, and then my portrait work. I'm actually really grateful that I'm getting away with doing both caricature and portrait work. Like I have both those markets, But in the illustration world, I've noticed that it's really important to have that, not all over the place type thing. But I disagree that you should just only do one style. You know what I mean? I think it's for example, like me painting my oil paintings, which is one of my favorite things to do. It just influences and helps my digital paintings become even better, right?
Right.
Now, if I'm just going to be a digital artist, that would be a shame. You gotta use as many things as possible, I think. So I wanted to ask you a couple other things here, and then I've got some questions from fans for you.
What's up?
Oh, one last thing before we get into like the fan thing. So this is a two-part question for you, because I've actually been sort of the second part of this. I've been it's been like kind of driving me crazy, let's just say, for a while, and it has to do with the movie Up. Okay.
Go.
So first of all,
hey, Jason.
Yeah.
Ask me anything, dude.
Okay.
Ask me.
This is great. So
you guys, all you fans out there, you gotta know, I love Jason and I love this guy. He's a good dude. Okay. I wish I could touch him across the screen, and I can't. Okay.
I know we gotta hang out soon. It's been way too long, man.
I love this guy. He lives in Chicago. I live in California, and I love this guy.
And you're amongst the smoke right now as we speak.
So go ahead and ask me anything.
So the beginning of Up is one of the most amazing intros to a movie ever. Like I remember the first time I saw it in the theater. I'm an adult. I'm sitting there watching it, and I'm like, God damn it! They're making me cry. Like at the beginning of the movie, like I went. It's like this cute little characters and this powerful intro. And it's even though it's a completely different aesthetic as Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards, there's a similarity, even though it was before Inglourious Bastards. But in the beginning of Inglourious Bastards, when there's that powerful intro with all the dialogue, and they're lighting their pipes and this whole thing, and it just gets intense. They're drinking milk, and it's just like, and then the movie starts, and you're just like, what? Like, you don't even need any movie after that, right? And that's how I feel with the beginning of Up, where I'm like, I just went on this crazy emotional ride. Yeah. And I just, man, I know why this guy's a grumpy old, son of a bitch now. And it's just amazing. But here's my real question about the movie.
Yeah.
What did the art staff and the designers of this movie have against nostrils and ear canals, because the dogs don't have nostrils. The people don't have nostrils. There's no ear holes anywhere. I mean, there's close-up shots of this guy's nose, and there's pores in his nose. You can see all the details in the skin, but there's no freaking nostrils. Like, what the hell? It looks like plastic. I don't understand it. And it like here's the thing, it drives me so crazy that I can hardly watch the movie. There's so much detail.
Because you touch on a very, very sensitive subject. So John Lasseter,
Yeah.
love him. God bless him. I love him. People have their opinions about him, but I love him. He was not for that, but their reasoning for it to not have nostrils was because it's a cartoon. So when you see Kermit the Frog and Kermit the Frog goes, he's sniffing, and so it was a cartoon.
Yeah.
That was the reasoning behind it. Thanks for showing me something.
Yeah, but I understand that. But here's what I don't understand. Like, if you look at the details, like in the house, the carpet, the lamps, the bedding, the clothing, the buttons, that's freaking flannel shirt. There's so much detail, but then there's no nostrils. It drives me nuts, dude. Like, and then I noticed the friggin' bird doesn't have nostrils. The dogs don't have nostrils. It's like,
this is what I'm looking at right now.
Yeah.
This is what I'm looking at right now.
Oh.
Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
Okay. There. Yeah. No. Yeah, they didn't have nostrils. They didn't.
I'd still, to this day, I'm like, what?
But if you look at films from this day on, they all have them.
Yeah.
Everybody has nostrils.
I was talking with my daughters about it, or my 11-year-old, and she's like, "Dad, it's cute," and I was like, "Yeah, okay, I get it's cute, but if you watch Jungle Book, which I think is one of the best animated movies of all time, his little nose scrunches. It's like, it's super cute, right? But he's got fucking nostrils, You can have cuteness and nostrils at the same time. So I got in an argument with my 11-year-old about this. So
I can't argue with you, man. You win, dude. You win, man. I'm sorry. You win.
All right. So I asked a bunch of people on the Instagrams and on the Facebooks if they had any questions for you. And part of the fun of this podcast, it's called Face the Truth, and I want to know if you're ready to face the truth. It's the truth is subjective, right? So it's somebody's truth, right? So I thought it would be great to get fans involved in being able to talk to my guests in a way, ask them questions, and also it's a cool chance for them to show an artist that they respect their work. So. So the first one I wanted to show you is by Justin Peterson. It was actually sent to me like 10 minutes before we started on Instagram. So I don't, did she open it up for you?
I'm going to go ahead and pull it up at the same time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the first one is Justin Peterson.
I got it up. That's awesome. Look, here we go.
Yeah.
Can the camera see that?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna show it on the screen too.
Man, that makes me feel old, man. It's like
just wait. There's all different versions here, buddy. The second one is by Ahmed Hamaki. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong.
My wife Esther is helping me with this.
Yeah, this is awesome.
So help me out. Okay. Wow. Holy moly. Oh my goodness.
Which one?
That's amazing.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
You guys see that? Wait, you're getting glare.
Yeah, they can kind of see it. I'm gonna post them on the screen as well, like later. So.
Holy moly, that's amazing.
And
wow, I just gotta say, God bless you guys. Thank you so much, man. That's amazing.
The next one is Andy Posner, and he's actually from Switzerland, which is pretty cool. I don't know where everyone's from, but he told me I'm from Switzerland, so I had to throw that out there.
Number 3, we skipped 2.
Did we skip 2? 2 was Ahmed.
Yeah, the 1. There was 0, 1.
Samita. Did we do that one? That's
We
not.
did.
Somebody got me. Somebody got me.
Amid? Is
Yeah,
this...
somebody got me. Somebody got me. That's hella funny.
Let me see.
You got me. Whoever that is.
Was that Samita?
I don't know who that is. I don't know who that is.
Amid?
Ahmed. Oh, that's Ahmed. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Ahmed, you did a great job.
Samita was the one prior, I guess.
Oh, okay. So
That's awesome.
So
Hey, that is awesome.
they're gonna love seeing you laugh. So the third one is Andy Posner, who is from Switzerland. That's the
That's okay. Let me open it.
okay, but yeah, I thought that this would be fun.
Here, let me show. It's downloading.
Oh,
And I
okay.
had them all downloaded.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, it was awesome. I just sent a message out. They started coming in like almost like the same day. It's pretty cool.
People are so awesome, man.
Yeah, it's really cool. I got some good ones for the next one with Steve Brodner, which is going to be cool.
So I'll show you. I'll show you before I show him.
Awesome.
Let me see it. Okay, all right. Y'all got me.
Okay, next one is from Ivan of Ginkgo. Ivan Aginko. Yeah.
Okay, I'll show you.
That was pretty nice. There's some nice hair in that.
Let's see, and then there you go, Danny.
Man, I'm ugly, man. I'm ugly, dude.
No, you're handsome. They get better. So
so what?
The next one's by Lars Eric Robinson.
Yeah, Lars. Okay, I'll show them. I'll show you.
Man, my confidence is going way down, you guys.
And then
I
think you gotta have another shot.
This is really good. You guys are amazing.
So
are amazing. Honestly, really talented artists. Really talented artists. You guys, to everybody watching this, you guys are amazing, and I want you to know that I love and respect all of these, and I respect your art. It's okay. Awesome. It's okay to have fun and draw and make fun of us. Like,
hey, there's a couple that I think are realistic portraits too.
I think these are just like they make you feel happy. Somebody drew me, man.
Yeah, isn't that cool? So the next one is David Yellen.
Jason, you know what the time takes to draw somebody. You know that.
Oh,
you know what it takes.
Oh yeah. Well, it's respect.
I'll never forget the day when you said, "I don't know what I do. I just paint what I see."
Yeah.
And you paint what you see.
Yeah. And or you try, like with caricature, for me it's like trying to capture what I feel, like I often think of caricature as more like impressionism, it's right. Right. It's not necessarily for me like picking out. I don't think it's about picking out the bad features or worse features. That's amateur hour. For me it's like, how does this person make me feel, and how can I best just capture that essence, like in the Dark Crystal, how those guys are like, drain their essence, like I'm trying to like push that essence. I don't want to drain it. I want to pump it up, as best I can. So the next fan art have questions. So I'll do the next one. The next one is David Yellen. And his question for you is, what is your process like starting from a blank piece of paper to a real life final character? And how do you promote your work to get hired, or how did you promote your work in the early days to get hired by Pixar?
Good question.
Did she get open the artwork too? By the way,
I'm waiting for.
Okay.
Is it the next three? The next three one, right?
Hold on, I'm waiting for it to open. Home. Sorry, 1 second. Time out. There it is. They're awesome. These are so awesome. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm ugly, man. Okay.
No.
I'm really ugly. But Why'd you change it? Because I'm like, this is my reaction. This is what it is, man. I'm sorry.
It's that one.
Oh yeah, I like that one. Wait,
Yeah.
which one? Which it's supposed to be the first one. Is from yeah.
Wait, Jason, can you re-ask the question, please?
So that's the first one. That's from David
Yeah.
Yellen. The question was, what is your process like starting from a blank piece of paper to a lifelike character?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll start with that one. Blank piece of paper, character. Blank piece of paper to a character. Basically, it's. I mean, you look at reference, right? Isn't it always reference? Don't you always look at that? Like, I always go back to reference and, what does that look like? What does this look like? Because that's what I'm trying. It's intimidating. It is intimidating though. Just this weekend, no lie, I had to go to a wedding. And I needed to draw somebody, and the whole time I had maybe a month or two to do it. I had a couple months to do it.
A month.
Right? A month. And I couldn't do it because I needed to not just draw what I see, but draw what I feel, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
So you want to get to know the person, so you draw their attitude more than you draw the way they look.
Yeah.
And so it's like this. You look at a character, any drawing of a character, and if you can see that character and go, man, I almost know what they're thinking, then you know that you accomplished what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
That's amazing when you can do that.
Right. Because it all just comes through a drawing.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. That's the biggest. I think that's the biggest goal, is to just draw what I feel, not what I see.
Yeah.
And as confusing as that may sound, it's the way I draw. I don't know. It's hard to explain.
No, that makes totally sense. I mean, like, especially like, I know, like, when you're doing, for example, when you were working on characters for Coco, Miguel was, you didn't design it based on your son, but you used your son as, you studied your son's behavior, how he, like, you said something like how he ate his cereal and different things like that. Like, and that's, I think, is really, really important, because, you don't necessarily, especially for a character design for a film, you don't want it to just actually be your son, because that would kind of be a little bit weird. But also just, you want to capture a character that, like, so many different people can relate to. And it's all about the feeling, and that's the same thing. Like, when I get lucky enough to be able to draw Donald Trump for certain things, like, I look at that guy's body. I look at, like, his weird breathing patterns, like his weird, how he always goes like these weird things when he talks, like okay, okay, and like, so I try to think of those things, the feelings,
But I want everybody to know, this is what makes you an amazing caricature artist, because look at your acting skills. I'm serious. Like, acting skills are very important when it comes to character design, because you're not just drawing what you see, you're drawing what you feel, and that's what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing, Jason. Like, you got the acting. You're just like,
you gotta. I do that with.
Dude.
I would do that. I would do it with Obama too. I'd be like, look, look, Michelle, okay, look. That's all he said all the time. Look here, see. So he had a second part of that question, but we should probably just move on, because there's a lot more. Let's go on to the next one, which is Hamid.
These drawings are all great, by the way.
Yeah, there's some pretty good ones. He says, when you were a kid, what character or movie inspired you the most, and did that drive you into the animation industry?
You know what? One movie that I saw when I was a kid, Jungle Book.
Yeah. That
one got me.
Yeah, me too.
Because here's what it is. I love music. Yeah. Music to me sings to my heart. And when there was music in that movie, I was like, ooh, ooh, that's a cartoon and it's animated. Ooh, man. And so that kind of got me into it. I know that like now people don't like it as much. They don't want to see music as much.
Oh, in movies?
In movies. They rather not sometimes. But that's where I differ. That's where I'm just like, no, I actually like it. I actually love it. When give me a movie and give me some music, I'm in. Because that's what I love. You know? I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's just something that I do.
Hold on a second. There you go. Did you see the drawing for that one, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me go back.
And then the next one is.
Let me see it. Hold on, sorry. Let me make sure I see it before.
So that was the first one. And
that's messed up, man.
This one, right?
No, that's the next one. That's Emma.
Okay. And then,
she did two. That the one with the guitar was the one I think for Hamad. Yeah. Okay.
You guys are the best, though.
So let me read Emma's question.
You guys are the best. You guys make me laugh. That is so good.
She had a lot of questions, so I just broke it down to like a couple.
That's amazing. Holy moly.
She said, what would you love to see more of from young artists inspiring into character development?
What would I love to see more?
Yeah. What would you like to see from young aspiring artists? That's a good question.
Let's think about that. Like, that takes a little bit of thinking. What would I love to see more, Esther?
People not giving up.
You know what I would love to see more of, Jason? More humble.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I want to see more humble. I want to see people who do great work. They do really good work and kill it and do an amazing job, but stay humble. Don't act like you're somebody you're not yet.
Yeah.
And even if you become that, that amazing artist that deserves all the trophies on the earth, if you can still just stay humble, there's people that would love you no matter what.
Oh yeah. Can agree with that, right? Man.
And I'll work with you forever. Honestly, I would love that. I'd love humble people. Like that's what I preach. Honestly, I preach humbleness. That is my number one goal. Like, if I am ever not humble, like, I'm not proud of myself. And that's when I have my anxiety attacks. That's when I have my panic attacks, is because I'm not being who I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I can definitely relate with that.
Right. That's the biggest question. And that's actually was a really good question. And this is amazing. I don't know who did this, but
which one is it?
This is amazing.
I can't remember that one right now off the top of my head. But I'm gonna put all the names and stuff on when I do it.
You let them know that's holy moly. That's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that one.
I'm not even worthy. Yeah.
You know, I like to add on to that. What would you like to see from young aspiring artists? The one thing that because we both teach at schoolism.com.
Yeah.
And I've been doing it for, I think, 11, close to 12 years now, something like that. And the one thing that I have noticed from young artists, or not even just young artists, just artists in general, is like this need to get to the final, to get into color and everything else. But I really think that what would help a lot of artists out there is if they just slow down a little bit, instead of committing to a drawing and going full on trying to render without really getting a strong likeness or character. Like, do a lot of thumbnail sketches, like do a lot of studying and development, push yourself to explore the possibilities that you have. And then once you do that, then take it to the next level where you do a more final finished piece. And then, and don't try jumping into color until you start to really understand values and that sort of thing, soft edges and that. And so, but I'm constantly telling students, like, all right, we slow down. Like, let's work on the drawing part first. Let's get that, because I'll have a simple assignment where I ask students to just do a bunch of sketches, and they'll do like one sketch, you know,
Right.
and so they didn't really explore, or they'll send me this final rendering, but the likeness is completely off, and it's like, wow, you spent all this time rendering when the drawing wasn't there, you know. So that's what I would say to that question too.
I got something for you, Valerie Image, hard work. I want to show you something. And this image, you probably have seen it already, but I think about this image every time I hear exactly what you just said, because it comes off real easy. So hold on, wait, sorry, let me look it up. Sorry, Jason.
No, it's all right.
Yep, this is it. So everyone wants to like work hard, right? Until they realize how much hard work it actually takes, right? And
Yeah.
you might have seen this already.
Oh my God.
You see that?
Yeah, that's gnarly, man.
That's it.
Wow.
I mean, actions are louder than words in my case, where it's like,
I mean, it made me say gnarly, and I haven't said that word since back in the watching Ninja Turtle movie days.
you get it, Jason,
Yeah,
right? You, man,
totally.
You're a successful artist, man. You get it.
Yeah.
You know.
That's brutal.
That's hard work, man. That you know what that girl had to, or man or whoever had to get blisters to mess up their feet.
Yeah.
To make it right.
Yeah.
You know, and people don't understand that sometimes.
Yeah, it's interesting too, just because like you know, when her foot's all wrapped up, you can't tell, and then she's doing this gorgeous, beautiful dance that you're just, wow, you're so moved by, and then she takes her shoe off, and you're like, oh, that's scary. That's so scary. Don't. It's like this beautiful dancing with this hideous feet. The sacrifice of the dancer. Yeah. No, that's actually really.
Amen.
No, that's the meme for today, man.
That dropped the mic on me, because I was like that's it. So many people want to be animation designers.
Yeah.
But when they realize the work they have to put into it, they don't put the work into it.
Yeah.
Only the best survive.
Oh yeah, dude.
Only the ones who put the most in. That's it. That's the truth. And I hate to be like that with everybody.
Oh no.
I don't want to. I wish that everybody could make it. I don't want anybody to not make it. But that's the case.
Yeah. No, for sure. That's definitely. I mean, that's the case in a lot of ways. I mean, you don't become a doctor by goofing around and playing video games all the time. You know, you've got to put the work into it.
Amen.
You know, so there's only 2 more questions left, and this is like the 9th question, and it's by Tomas, and his question was, what was your biggest artistic weakness, and how did you overcome it, and do you have any daily practices in maintaining your art skills?
What would you say, Esther? Help me out with this one.
Me. I'm his pusher.
She's like,
my wife to push.
She's like,
my wife pushes. I know my wife pushes me. She pushes me all the time. She lets me have it. She makes sure I'm on point. She will not. She's the reason I will not be a loser, because she checks me.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a good life.
It is what it is.
That sounds horrible.
No, I love her though, and I love her for it. Like, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's good. It's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing.
No, he's said, yeah. He needs that. He needs that. You know, that the better half. You know, in order to get him to you know.
Wait, can you read the question again one more time, so I make sure I answer?
Okay, what was your biggest artistic weakness, and how did you overcome it? And then, do you have any daily practices to maintain your art skills?
A big artistic weakness was insecurity. I was very insecure of myself. How did I overcome it? I didn't. I never really did. I just kind of just keep working.
Yeah.
You know, just keep drawing, and eventually, in order to get one good drawing, it takes 1,000 bad ones, right?
Yeah.
So I just drew 1,000 bad drawings.
Yeah.
That's how you get over it. that's how you get over it. You draw 1,000 bad times, and then eventually maybe one might be all right.
Yeah.
You know?
You ever,
Eh, ish.
like for me when I'm painting, I don't know if you ever experienced this, but do you ever experience the like in the middle of a painting, for example,
Yeah.
there's always a part where I get to a certain part in the painting where I'm like, oh, this sucks. This is terrible. Like or there's like the voice in my head where I'm just getting beaten down, and I just want to snap my brushes and just like, oh, I'm terrible. Like I'm a joke. What in the world, And then you take a break, you come back, and you're like, oh, that's actually looking pretty good, and then you just kind of just gotta push through that. There's like it's almost like a quicksand that if you let yourself just sink in this like this like pit of just doubt and like it can be a huge weight that just pushes you down. You're gonna suffocate. But you got to push forward. You got to try to find a branch or something. You got hopefully Indiana Jones comes by or something. But I mean, you got to get out of that sand pit. And I think what I see with a lot of artists that have given up on stuff is if they've fallen for that voice. That's that voice that I think we all have it. Even the most successful artists have that voice where you're like, man, this sucks. Or like, even when you first start sketching, like, oh man, I'm so disappointed in my first few shapes I put down. Like it could be better, But the way you get past that is by pushing through and keep drawing, keep pushing it, I mean that's how I end up dealing with it anyways, because I definitely, I'll get down in the dumps sometimes where I'm like, oh man, I'm supposed to be this professional artist, and this thing I'm working at right now just sucks, And and then later on you realize, oh, that was just it was necessary for me to get to where it ended up.
Yeah.
I think struggle is important. I think it's really important,
Yeah.
in becoming a good artist. Like Jack White from the White Stripes, I've heard him talk about this before, where he likes to have guitars that are actually hard to play, where they kind of go out of tune while he plays them and different things. And he wants to struggle to get that sound because that's how he has his sound. Like his sound comes from struggle. And I think that's pretty interesting. I think it can be taken in almost any kind of art form, whether it's poetry or sculpting or anything. So I have one last question for you. And this is from Joshua Tooley. I probably said that wrong. Sorry, Joshua. And he said, can you tell us about a game-changing moment in your career? And I don't know if you saw his, but his was the last image I sent you.
Let me pull it up before before I reply.
It's the last one.
Yeah.
Let me see it. My wife's helping. My wife Esther. She's doing a great job. Thank you. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Here we go. This is the image.
Yeah.
And once again, can you ask the question again, please?
He said, can you tell us about a game-changing moment in your career?
Okay. Yeah, what was a game changer? God, that's a good question. The day I was told I was having a baby girl. So around this time, if most of you don't know, she was born around 2001, and where the World Trade Center had just been attacked on.
Yeah.
That was a game-changing moment, because I was like, am I really going to just be an artist? Meanwhile, the world's getting attacked right now. Like, that's how it felt for us,
Mm-hmm.
here in the United States, at least.
Yeah.
It felt like we were getting attacked, and shoot, is this what I'm bringing into this earth? Like, I don't want to do this. Like, I want to bring good people.
Mm-hmm.
And what a bad place to be right now. That's kind of where I was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
That was a game-changing moment, because for me, I needed to decide, do I want to continue with this and be a good father and teach them the way of the art, the way that I know it, or do I want to just run and hide?
Yeah.
And I had to figure it out for myself. That was a major, big changing moment for me. I know it has nothing to do with art related, nothing. it's like also too, as artists, we're human.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
exactly.
we have real human emotions,
Mm-hmm.
and we hurt, and we cry, and we go through a lot of bad times and good times.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we still love each other. I think the best thing I could say ending this is, as an artist, I would love to just spread the word of just love.
Yeah.
Like, can we all just get along? Whether you like this or that or not, let's just get along. Let's just get along. We don't have to hate anymore. We don't have to fight. We can all just get along.
Yeah, man, and that's exactly that's a really good way to end it this first episode, because this is exactly the whole reason why I wanted to do this podcast. Is what I explained to you before we started was, for me personally, hey, I'm guilty of it. I've gotten into stupid debates online and stupid stuff like that. But you know what? I got to a point like in the last few months where I'm just getting so tired of the negativity on social media, in the news, and I just I really started doing things online with my art, where I started inviting artists to share their work on my Facebook page. Like I would do a painting I did of Donald Trump or what was, I think one of them was Johnny Depp or something like that. And then I said, hey, here's a drawing I did of Johnny Depp. If you've ever done a drawing of Johnny Depp, share it here. Well, I want to see, like, let's let everybody share their work here. And what I noticed when I started doing that was it started feeling like more like a community and a friendship, where it's, yeah, it's my Facebook page where I share my work, but to kind of open it up to to let other people share together makes it like we're a huge family. And it became a positive thing where I was like, man, this is cool. And it got me starting to think about the whole podcast thing, where, man, this is an opportunity where I can talk with awesome artists from all over the world, whether they're musicians or sculptors or stand-up comedians, whatever they do is their art. And it's an opportunity for me to have a conversation and then share that with everybody, and hopefully it's a positive thing. So I thank you so much for doing this, man. This is a new thing for me. So it's a big experiment, hopefully it's going to go awesome. But even if it doesn't, I still get the chance to talk to artists and have a good chat, So how do you think it went, man? How do you feel? You feel good about this?
Jason, I love you, dude. I love you, dude. I love you, man.
I love you too, man.
I miss you, man. I want to hug you now. If I could hug you, I would hug you. So.
Oh, man, I love you too. It's been a long time. It's been like, what was it, like, gosh, 5 years maybe? Last time we were it was in Vegas, right?
It's been a while, yeah.
It was a while, man.
It's been a while. I haven't met your youngest. I haven't met your wife, so.
Yeah. Well, soon, man. Hopefully we can make a trip out there. We're actually thinking of going out to San Francisco, because I've never seen it before. I've never been to that area, and just like my wife said, like, we should get like a limo, and get Daniel and Esther, and we'll just go to the wine vineyards and just have. Wouldn't that be awesome? So we got to do that for sure.
Yeah. Tell her she has the right idea. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she's. You know what? Her and Esther will become best friends. I mean, I'm telling you right now, it's a match made in heaven. She's an artist as well. She's an oil painter, does portraits, and just overall an amazing person. Okay. So yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Well, we'll see you soon, dude.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Daniel, for taking the time to chat with me. To check out Daniel's work, visit Arriaga.com and RRR_Yaga on Instagram. And thank you to all the artists who participated and did drawings of Daniel. Until next time.